How's it going, guys? Girls, hope you guys are having a great week. So I'm back today with another video. This is a new style of video that I'm wanting to try on the channel, which is called I recommend. So I want to showcase and talk about some of the different games I'm playing, especially certain indie titles, because it was one of my New Year's resolutions this year to actually play more indie games and actually feature them here on the channel, because as we all know, a lot of the big AAA games have plenty of advertising and marketing, but it's a lot harder for smaller indie developers to actually spread the word on their games and whether or not it's worth putting down your money on. So that's what this series is. It was to try and showcase a little bit on some of the titles that I'm playing and just generally talk about my impressions on them. Today I actually want to talk about V Rising, which is a new early access game which came out in May, and it's developed by Stunlock Studio. Just want to say a massive thank you to Stunlock Studio so much for providing a copy of the game. I've played quite a few hours into it and I'm really enjoying it. I'm actually really surprised by how much I am enjoying V Rising. So for those who don't know, what is V Rising? Well, it is a vampire themed survival open world base building game. It's really cool, really interesting. It's actually one of the best kind of survival games I've played in recent memory, and it is available on Steam exclusively. It's a PC exclusive. In the UK you can buy the game for about £15.50, and in America it's $19.99, so about $20. It is a PC exclusive game. It doesn't support controller, so it is keyboard and mouse only, but there's a pretty good reason for that in terms of all the different mechanics and different things that you can do within the game. So the basic premise is you are awakened as a weakened vampire after centuries of slumber. At the beginning of the game, you venture out of your crypt into an open world, and ultimately you have to hunt for blood and resources in order to regain your strength to survive and to rebuild your empire. The game lets you explore a huge open world. I mean, the map is absolutely massive, and you can actually play it either solo or online. I think definitely Stunlock are aiming more towards that online component. You can actually play it online with random people and join other online servers, but you can also host your own private server with up to 3 friends, and you can choose whether to play the game in PvE or PvP mode, so cooperation or competition, depending on what you want to do. Within the game, as you venture out, you will pillage villages, raid bandit camps, and take on supernatural beasts and enemies to learn their abilities, to gain resources, and to ultimately grow in strength and power. You are also aiming to build a castle, your very own castle, which is awesome. The crafting and settlement building mechanics in this game are some of the best I have played. They're really good. The crafting feels very satisfying. The progression is handled very well as well. This game really doesn't hold your hand at the beginning. There aren't these pop-up tutorials that we get in a lot of AAA games. Instead, the game gives you certain objectives to follow, and as you follow each of those objectives, the game slowly reveals all of the different mechanics and things that you can do in a really intuitive way. It's really enjoyable, and the first couple of hours of the game are really great, and they will hook you in. Now, usually I'm not a big fan of survival games. It's not really my kind of genre, but I will say that I have been hooked in by V Rising, and I haven't been able to put it down. I've really enjoyed it. What I have experienced so far. As you rebuild and you build your castle, ultimately you will lure victims back to your castle, where you can actually convert them into loyal servants to feed on, defend your castle, or send them out into the wild to scavenge resources. You can explore both during the night, which of course is a lot safer for you because you are a creature of the night, so you are stronger at nighttime, or you can actually explore in the daytime. Another mechanic I really love is just how perilous it is to explore during the daytime. Of course, you are a vampire, so sunlight is pretty much deadly to you. So if you do go out during the day, you do have to stick to shadows and duck and weave and dash into shadows, because if you are caught out in the sun for too long, you will get burnt to ashes. This is very tricky in terms of traversal, but also if you do get stuck in combat taking on certain enemies, it can make combat really strategic and really tricky as well. I have loved my time with the game so far. At the beginning of the game, you get to fully customize your own character. You can play as obviously male or female, and the character customization, I would say, within the game is pretty decent. You can create a pretty unique looking vampire. There are a lot of skin tones, hair color, eye color, hairstyles, so you can make a character that looks really unique and your own, which is really, really cool. For me, the crafting is really enjoyable. Of course, you craft weapons and armor to make you more lethal, but also to make, to protect you. But the base building surprised me with how much I actually really enjoyed making my own fort. And you craft certain things like a furnace to be able to make, break down certain ores and things like that. You craft a sawmill, so you chop down trees and then put the wood into the sawmill to create, planks of wood and things like that. And you use these raw resources to build better and stronger walls and materials and fortifications for your castle. Really enjoyable. The crafting and the base building is very, very enjoyable. The combat itself in the game was really, really good. For me personally, I don't usually play with keyboard and mouse, so I did find it a little bit tricky initially to get used to that, and used to the movement. But once I figured it out, the combat's actually really enjoyable. It's a nice mixture between melee and also magic base. Of course, you're a vampire, so you have supernatural abilities. There are a couple of ranged magical attacks that you can use. There's a nice dash move that you've got to get out of trouble, a nice counter magical move as well. And obviously there are a whole range of weapons, from swords, axes, maces, spears, to ranged weapons like crossbows and things like that. So I really did enjoy the combat, and I found it very accessible and really, really enjoyable. Of course, with these enemies, ultimately you are going to feed off of them. You do have a blood pool, which you have to keep a very close eye on, because of course you're a vampire, so that is your lifeblood. If your blood pool runs to empty, you will die, and if you die, it resets you back to the start of the base. You do drop all of your resources, but thankfully these stay on the map, so you are able to go and pick those back up again. And it's not like sort of Dark Souls, wherein if you do die before you get back there, you lose it all. Thankfully, it isn't as punishing as that. So I didn't mind too much if I did die, because I could very easily get back to gain those resources. Feeding on the blood of different creatures and enemies is really interesting too, because you actually gain their blood type depending on who you're feeding on, and each of these blood types have their own unique perks and buffs, and the more of them that you feed on, the stronger you become, and the more sort of resistant you are to damage, and the more damage you deal, and the more unique abilities that you do have. Feeding off of more powerful foes also allows you to gain access to unique powers and abilities. So for example, I took on an alpha wolf and fed off of the alpha wolf after defeating it. And this actually gave me the ability to shape shift into a wolf, which was really awesome and really cool and really, really useful. So V-Rising, so far I've really, really enjoyed my time with the game. I'm blown away by it, to be fair. I have played it purely single player, so I haven't played any of the multiplayer yet, but Fish and Dante have just picked up a copy of the game after me raving about this with them, and we are actually going to be jumping in to play some of it this Thursday. So I'm going to record some of that gameplay, and we probably will do a part 2 to this first impressions video, where I will talk about the multiplayer and how that compares to the single player and our general experiences with it. If you would like us to upload some video footage of us playing the game, so you actually get to see us play the first section of the game again, then please do let me know in the comment section below if you are interested in that, and I will capture that fully and obviously upload that onto the channel for you. And if it's a game you'd like to see see us stream in the future, then do let us know that in as well in the comments, and you'll certainly see if that's something that we can make happen. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this style of video. Do you enjoy it? What are your thoughts on it? Please do let me know. If there's any games you'd like me to cover on the channel to do this style of video for as well, please do share that in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit the like button as always to show your support. It's massively appreciated and it does help the video get out there. But yeah, hope you found this video useful and informative. I'll be back again with more content in the future. The next game I'm going to cover is actually going to be Neon White, which I've been playing a lot of very recently and loving. So that will be the next video in this series that will be featuring probably in a couple of days after this one. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of V Rising. If you have any questions, please do share those in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. But have a great week, of course. Thank you so much for watching and your support. Take care, everybody, and as always, happy gaming. Bye, guys.